talk a bit more of volume 2?
Yeah, volume 2 is, well, remember I said that Black Studies has many disciplines between 10 and 12. When you're writing a book, you know what I mean? There's only so much you can get in with the with the bases available and so on. So volume 2 is very much in the vein as volume 1. There's more things to study. So whiteness is studied in volume 2. The psychology of racism is studied in volume 2. Black identity is studied in volume 2. Black men and black women is studied. It centres on Africa, got a whole chapter on Africa in volume 2 in its relation to the world capitalist economy. So volume 2 is just more information of the same. Volume 3 is the racism handbook for young people, all right? Because young people really need to understand what it means to be classified as black, and they need to understand what an Asian is and what a white is. They've really got to understand that, and they don't. They don't. All right? Any questions, please? Go ahead.
First, I would like to say that thank you for sending the work to make a guide like this for us in a society where today most of us are colorblind, but they said we're racially illiterate. And yeah, I think this is an important work that you're doing. But my question is that, do you think that it's helpful for Africans to address themselves as black, or should we stick to calling everyone African, even if they were not born on the continent from him? Which one do you think which one do you think is helpful to our people psychologically and historically to address as a
Right, very good question, excellent. For as long as we're in a system of racism, okay, remember, we need to find methods of survival, you see. Now, I know for some Africans on the continent, this concept of a black person is bunk. What do you mean black? Doesn't mean anything. We're aware of that. The European thinks that Africans are walking around calling themselves black in pre-colonial Africa. It's laughable stuff. But we are classified as black, and we are racialized as black, okay? And black studies is as a method, it's an activity that binds us together. Marcus Garvey was doing the same thing. He used the term Negro because it was the time in the early to mid 19th century. So he used the term the coming together of the Negro. All right, but that's the same process. We use that term because it has kind of universality. Okay, that's how I use it. My book classified as black. You see, I know some people have different views on that. I've said it, and I'm going to continue to. There's no one that colour on earth. Okay, and even if there was someone that colour on earth, okay, there are multiple colours of black people. If you wanted to focus on colour, and I don't see why we should focus on colour, because that's what Europeans do. If you wanted to focus on colour, black people are multiple amounts of colours anyway. So I think in answer to your question, I think black is a useful term, just like Garvey used the word Negro. The Negroes of the world unite. It was a term to bind everybody together. I know I'm an African of African descent. I know that, okay? But while I'm here in the UK, people are going to call me a black man, okay? Even Somalis now know that they're black. I mean, I remember years ago they thought they weren't black because they were Arabized. But even Somalis, we're classified as black. It's not, it's a racialized condition. That's what it is. We're people of African descent by means of a gene pool and so on. So, I mean, I use it as the term to bind us together.
Would you consider that some black people from the Caribbean or African American, they consider themselves as black but not as African?
That is going on, but that comes down to racial illiteracy. If you study, then you would know that essentially you're an African. If you study, look, let's put it this way. European landmass, Spanish, French, German, they know there's distinctions between them, but they also call themselves white as a binding force. So yeah, there's going to be Americans. I mean, I work with a school teacher, right? He's born in St. Lucia. So he's convinced he's a St. Lucian. He thinks the nation state is going to save him. You see, he's convinced of that. And we have lots of WhatsApp debates and so on. The only thing he is concerned about is race and representation. I'm in a school, I'm a black teacher, there's race and there's representation, and I get money and I've bought a house and car. Yeah, a lot of black people are tripping out on that. So you will get Africans who deny, African Americans who deny their Africanness. I think I was listening to my sister's a musician, and I was listening to the singer Smokey Robinson, and if you call him an African, he'll be deeply offended. What's the other actor who? Morgan Freeman. You can't call him an African, he'll be offended by that. That is going on. That's a lack of knowing where you come from. But it's real simple stuff. Europeans on the land mass know they're Spanish, know they're French, and still know they're white. It's the same thing. Where are you from?
Oh.
Ghana. Where are you from? Nigeria. Okay, my parents from the West Indies. Okay, there's distinctions, but we need black consciousness to fight the oppression. It's very simple if we understand it from a European perspective. Now, the reason you get black people who want to disavow themselves from Africa is because they're brainwashed, aren't they? They lack an understanding of self. Why would you want to disenfranchise yourself from the greatest continent in terms of resources on Earth? Why would you want to disconnect from that? So that school teacher there, he wants to nice himself up with the little, St. Lucia. Why would you give an island up? Why would you give a continent up for an island? You see? So I feel connected to the continent. It's a spiritual connection. You see? Many black people haven't been there yet or whatever. But that's what I am. Insofar as a Spanish and a German knows they're white. Okay? I think that's an analogy that possibly could be used. Someone might think it's useless, but that's the one I use. Go ahead.
Another question. Why do you think that they keep changing the camps that the system calls when we become Negroes, Afro-American or Afro-Caribbean, then now they be called black? Why do they keep changing that? And then another question, do you think that there will be a time where it will change, calling us black and keep calling us another thing?
It will change for as long as the system needs to survive. Until we have a massive revolutionary shift with the capitalist world economy, okay, racism keeps mutating and changing so that it survives. So whatever they do, whatever is necessary for them to stay on top, that's it. At the moment, they call us black people. When you and I walk down the street, a police officer's not going to go, oh, he's Nigerian and that's an Afro-Caribbean people. Let's treat them differently. That's not going to happen. In systems of racism, you and I are in the same boat. You see, so you get these stupid African Americans and people from the Caribbean who try to disenfranchise themselves from their heritage. But when it comes to systems of racism, not a good move. So essentially, the system will do whatever's necessary to stay on top. And at the moment, we're racialised as black people. We know who we are. Yes, please.
I was trying to think what country that did not classify themselves as black. And I was glad that you mentioned that country, which is Somalian. I know some Somalian, and they would really argue that they are not black, they are Somalians. And I realized, and then I used to sort of question myself, why do not they accept themselves as black? We're all black there. And again, I'm solution.
Right.
Through history, I think that was what the situation was. We classified ourselves as countries, even though we are black. Would say that I'm an Ethiopian, I'm a Somalian, I'm an Egyptian. And that was how we classified ourselves. I think black, that term black, only recently came in.
Well, it's about
Even when we go to the Bible,
300 years old,
where it also says Cushites, they were all black. But they didn't see themselves specifically as skin color. They saw themselves as countries. Probably say Ghana, I'm a Ghanaian, I'm a Nigerian.
I think the thing to understand is that the term black is a racialized term invented by elite Europeans. Now, some blacks will try to say black, we invented that term. Black people, African people did not invent the term black. Okay, and the evidence that some black people put forward is land of the blacks. They go to the ancient documents and they say, "Oh, look, land of the blacks." Well, land of the blacks is written in Arabic. That was written by Arabs. The term land of the blacks was written by Arabs, white Arabs, who had their notions of black. Blackness is racialization. Okay, now. Someone said to me the other day, "Yeah, but I saw someone on the African continent who was absolutely black." And I said, well, even if you found one person the colour of it white, black people come in many shades, so that wouldn't be enough evidence. The fact of the matter is, black is racialization. That's what it is. And I've spoken to Africans who said, when I was growing up, what's this black on the continental Africans who said to me, I worked with a lady once, she was a classroom assistant, she said, "Oh, when I was growing up, we don't know this black stuff. What is this black person?" They have no idea. It makes sense. I mean, it's absolutely laughable that pre-colonialism, blacks were walking around the continent calling each other black. I'm laughing. It's pathetic. Okay, black comes from European epistemology.
And Greeks.
Yeah, but the most developed, Europeans are. Well, I know they're the bastardized children of the Arabs. I admit that. But I mean, it's not our epistemology. That's what I'm saying.
When more or less it came into practice, like
I would say around the Arabs started using this term black around the 14th century. Europeans started using it around the 1600s.
So it was Arabic who did it first?
Well, Arabs, possibly they may have come up with calling African people black prior to the Europeans. But the Europeans came up with a developed theory that innate in blackness is some type of inferiority. The West's greatest philosopher is Immanuel Kant. There's no Arab version of Immanuel Kant writing reams and reams on how black, so supposedly black skin, has innate in it notions of inferiority. Only Kant wrote that type of stuff. Okay, so the Arabs may have come up with the word black, okay, but the developed theory of black racialization is elite Europeans. There's no support for blackness. Now, another black skin. Race is not. The word race is not Africa. We don't have races in Africa. Okay, we don't do any of that nonsense. Pre-colonial Africa. So ancient world, the Temple of Thebes, where you see those pictures, that's an expression of cultures and nations. And what people are doing, it's anachronism. You're reading race back into it. Those are the two ports of call that black people use. Land of the Blacks and the Temple of Thebes. None of them prove anything. Okay, we are Africans. We didn't walk around calling ourselves black. Okay, that's nonsense. Doesn't exist. Okay, it just doesn't exist. There's no support for it. Black is a racialized term. Now, if you found someone black-skinned, it wouldn't change that. But I've never seen someone black-skinned. I don't know if you have, but I haven't seen one.
You see them, what?
What, this colour? That colour? You sure? You might want to think about what you say. Thank you. No, I don't think you'll see them. Okay? Yes, please go ahead.
On the issue of blackness and the term itself, black, like you said, it's the history, the Arabs use it first, then the Europeans kind of owned it, and then they use that to define us. Black is everything bad, the black book, the black sheep. Then at some point in American history, the Africans in America had to own that, and the likes of Kwame Ture did a wonderful job talking about black power, black is beautiful. So we had to own it at that period of history, to be defined. But then Kwame Ture again said we need to move from black power to Pan-Africanism. So we need to move from being black to being African. And I think you referenced John Henry Craig that said, what does it mean to be black? It's an identity. It's not tied to land. It's not tied to anything. So we need to be African and move from being black. Yeah, it is progress from being a nigger to negro to being black, then move to being African.
I totally agree with that. Now, tomorrow when we go to work and someone says, who your black guy coming in, I accept that I'm racialized as black. I'm not going to deny it. You see, I accept it, and we can use it in positive ways, like you said. You know what I mean? Black power. Say it loud, I'm black and uncloud. We can use it in positive ways. But come on, it doesn't mean we have to misunderstand that it's a racialized term. One of the positive ways of using it are black studies, where we use it almost like the word Negro from Marcus Garvey to include all of the diaspora as well as people on the continent. Okay, so really, as the brother said there, that's leading to a Pan-Africanist perspective. Okay, and if we don't have black consciousness, right, we are not going to survive. So we'll take that term and we'll use it appropriately. Now, in terms of that black-white issue, I did research the black issue, skin colour and all that. I did research for this chapter. I did lots of research and lots of interviews. And I found that black people didn't really understand race. This is really important. What is race? And it is contentious in the black community, I have to tell you. There are elders in the black community, I won't give names, that are convinced that Africans were walking around calling themselves racist. But no. No. We did not call ourselves race. Find me an African word, pre-Africa, pre-colonialism, race. Find it. And notice how they skip the colonial period and go to the ancient pictures. Show me something in pre-colonial Africa that is black. Go ahead. That they defined as black. They don't. This is a European and Arab thing. Okay? And this chapter here, what is race? Black people need to read this very carefully. This book is sourced, it's Black Studies, it's totally sourced, so you can do additional studies yourself. Okay? It's important. How are your questions?
So therefore it goes back to what I said, that we called ourselves various countries.
Yes, we linked it to where we were.
And it was
pre-colonial Africa. I'm not an expert on pre-colonial Africa, but I do know that we weren't walking around calling each other racist. It's laughable. And yet there is an elder, not this elder, there is an elder in our community. He actually said in a video, black people define themselves by colour. Nonsense. Absolute nonsense. Okay? Africans define themselves by colour. You must be joking. We define ourselves by our culture, by our literature, by our ways of being. We don't define. Africans defining themselves by colour in the ancient world. Or the pre-colonial world. Now, what's happening there is race has got into your psyche and you're being anachronous and you're pouring it back into Africa. Race, black is race, but we've got to use it while we're here in positive ways. Okay? We're Africans. We're Africans. That's what it is. African descent or whatever. Okay?
But the positiveness actually came in the 60s when Black Power, Black is beautiful.
Yeah, good. This is what
So it is
of course.
positive.
What we really meant was what Amos Wilkerson said when he said, Black power, black is beautiful, Africanness is beautiful. That's what we're really saying. Okay? But some Africans, some black people in America, they're anti-black African. You've got loads of African Americans who are anti-African.
Yeah.
Not much less those who are anti-black. You've got black people who are anti-Africa.
Yeah.
They mock your voice, they mock everything about you. They're anti-Africa. Okay? That's going on. And then you have black people who are anti-black because they want to be white or Asian. But that's going on. It's a lack of knowledge, it's a lack of know thyself. You see? Well, the first thing is to understand is the reason a lot of these black people hate the concept of Africa, because they actually think we're blackberry barrel. Nonsense. Nonsense. We are African people who have a culture, who have literature, who have ways of being. But because of colonialism and forced migration, we're here. We're here. I mean, you're here, but your country is still being controlled by the West. Totally. Wealth extraction is the same as it's been 500 years ago. The capitalist core is still sucking the global south, specifically the African continent. The West is built on racism. We have to accept that. And therefore the developments of white supremacy are embedded into the political economy itself. So for the West to survive, it needs to extract wealth from one of the most wealthiest continents on the planet, which is called...
And do you think what is happening at the moment in countries like the Sahel and Burkina Faso and Mali, they kind of kicking out France, they kind of going against imperial domination in their countries. What would you say on that?
Well, there is a resurgence of Pan-Africanism and black people realizing that all the structural programs that the West have put in place, you know, as the old Native Americans used to say, white man speak with forked tongue. So they're realizing that the IMF programs, the World Bank, and all these institutions of white supremacy are not serving their interests. So there's definitely a resurgence on the African continent with various black leaders or African leaders who want to throw off the shackles, you see. But the West has its method. It brings in economic hitmen. It tries to destabilize the country. They use various methods. But I think there is definitely a resurge of African power. They want to get rid of the various structural programs that are running much of Africa. But what we need is the Pan-Africanism, the kind of connection between the various countries in Africa. You see, that's what we need.
And then there is nationalities are given to Caribbeans and African Americans in countries like Ghana, Sierra Leone, and the president now of Burkina Faso, he's looking for African Americans and Caribbeans.
That's amazing. That's
to give nationality in June.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, if you have any Sahel link, or Burkina Faso, or Mali, or Niger,
I should have the right,
conquest, slavery, colonialism. We find ourselves in utter confusion. We refuse to who we are. In all my life, and the next word here is 75, I've never met any person, male or female, with his follow.
I know what Elder's going to say now. Do you want to know what? Because we've had deep debates on this. I know Elder's position. Do you mind me telling it?
No, I can't because
I know his position. It's a unique one. Come on, give it to us. Give it to us.
I'm a violent.
You've never seen anybody that colour, you said. Okay, carry on.
And I never will.
You certainly will not. But
And yet, we all said white people, part of us. White people need this, white people. And there's really my argument to say, white people don't exist. Where did that term come from? It just accepted that white people define themselves as white, and they're white, and they accept it. Because white people determine everything under the sun. Because we and other people who are not classified as white allow it to happen. We don't say to white people, shut up and shut your mouth. We don't know. You can't tell me nothing. We just accept. Yes, Moana. Yes, Masa. It's a deep subject as to where the term black comes from. Because it is said that the very word Kemet means the black land. I'm not an historian. I don't understand etymology as he said, the root word of everything. But I'm very comfortable with the term blacks. And to me, black is the other side of the coin. African and black. Just as though European and white is different side of the same coin. It will come a time when we are in full control of our life as a people to determine and define who we are. We shouldn't waste any time now. I'm African, I'm not black, I'm not African. That gives plain stability. Because if we were to argue, we're more black in color, in appearance, than white people being white in appearance. We may argue that color definition comes from white people, and there may be the actual evidence to support it. If I was to shut my type, what I would see is blackness. And to me, blackness is the very foundation of life. Everything comes out on blackness. So I'm happy to be identified as being black, because black is superior in everything. It's out of black that everything comes. Energy that drives everything, that conceptualizes life itself, is blackness. The womb. I'm not a doctor, out and look inside a womb, but I'm told that the womb is black. The black hole, and when they talk about force of life and gravity, in fact, and it's something I know, I'm not a scientist. If you have a black coat, it attracts and pulls things to it. White don't do it. So we are meant to run away from blackness. No, I'm running into blackness, because in blackness on the power. Energy is that source. And when some people say they don't know anybody black, I've seen people very black, and there's no one can tell me that we as a people, in terms of skin color, are not jet black. We're black with blue. In fact, the beauty about us, just at a wide spectrum.
well, that's my point.
It's so varied. It's so beautiful. You line up 100 people in this room, and they'll be different in variation.
So why do we pick the black one then? If the variation is a panoply of colours, why do
That's the source. That's the source.
No, because I would say the reason you're picking the black one is because the European have put it into your psyche.
No. I can defend that. Because when you look at the color black itself, I have got a coat and I'm going to burst it because they pull the track things to it. The word black and blackness have innate power of attraction. In fact, all the other people who are not black are envious of it. Because we blacks, if we're in our right mind, we don't want to come white and we don't want to change our color. If we're conscious of being black. But white people who are conscious of themselves want to become black. They go in the sun and then we kill them, give them chance. But they still do it.
But Elder, you sure they want to become black or they want to be...
Yes.
It's not tan, it's not black. Chance. Tan is not black.
When you look at it, just a variation, a white variation. So the source is black, and there's graduation coming away from it, almost to white. And black is the only thing can do it. Black can produce white, white can produce black. So everything points to black supremacy, black value, black everything, black power. And I love being black, and I'm putting 1 inch, not what.
Good. Well, read the chapter on race. All right.
Yeah, there is also this thing about the melanin injection that white people do take because they want to be black.
Right, just a second. Look, can I just say something? There is no evidence that white people want to be black. Some white people want to be black. White people, according to Francis Cress Welsing, want to get colour in their skin. They do not want to be black. They want to get colour in their skin. Right. So, to my mind, what I argue, if blackness or Africanness is a panoply of colours, then that, as I said earlier, if you find someone jet black, okay.
Why does it have to be jet black?
No, but I'm black. But my point is this. Blackness has a panoply of colours. It's not just dark. Black can be a various colour code right across the spectrum. But my point is this, as Elder said, really, it's not a big issue because we're gonna use our blackness in a positive way.
It's good.
And this is called Black Studies.
In fact, what we should be doing is to beat up the attack on black. That's what we should do. We should raise up black. Trying up black. Banner for black.
Yeah,
and anybody who's trying to attack it, kill him.
Yes, but remember, Africa, but there isn't a continent called black. There's a place called Africa.
Well, we name it that way.
No, Elder, we did not. But this is what I'm saying. There is no evidence anywhere that an African called Africa black. The Arabs did that. They call it Land of the Black. It's written in Arabic. It's not written in Kiswahili. I mean, what more evidence do you want as that? The Land of the Black is written in Arabic. So I'm yet to see an African language saying we're black. The point is, the problem on our planet is Africa. That's the problem. That's what we should be securing. Okay? Skin colour, they're using that against us.
I didn't understand that, the last bit you said.
What do you mean?
I missed it when you said the problem is Africa. I didn't really...
Yeah. Africa's being recolonized as we speak. Is it not?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's multiple structural programs that are sucking Africa dry. So our problem If we're going to have a massive revolution of change in the world, it's going to be the West's attitude towards Africa. I mean, they're sucking the global South north, but Africa's the centre of this whole issue. So when we say it loud, I'm black and I'm proud, that's an analogy for say it African, I'm black and I'm African. That's what that really means. That's what that means. When you say it loud, I'm black and I'm proud, it means Africa. That's what it means.
It's not debate. Yeah.
Yeah. All I'm saying is that there doesn't appear to be any support in ancient Africa or medieval Africa or pre-colonial Africa of Africans calling themselves black people. It doesn't exist. I've never seen it. I've seen that we are people who attach ourselves to our landmass, to our culture, to our religion and so on. I don't believe what one other elder said, not you, who said that black people, we use unreal concepts. That's my point. But anyway, the main point is, it's just to understand what race is. Race is racialization. Okay? It's not a big problem. Race is racialization.
And be careful there when they make that statement, you know, because one of the things that we fail to connect with, that there is the Neanderthal link that we don't talk about. And white people have links for Neanderthals. We don't. Secondly, and again, I'm not a scientist, I need to check this with people. There's better study when they check out all the different people, the African, Europeans, and the Asiatic, in terms of the DNA strand. They go up to, I think, 5. The African go up to 9. No, I don't know a lot about DNA. I need to get into that. We need to look at that. So we're not all the same. I know a sister, to Pokum, she's a surgeon, and she not just a that from devout medicine and so on. So to cut people. And she said that even the organs in the blacks are different in size, in color. And she's a surgeon. To cut people, look inside people's body. So we're not all the same. This idea that we are the same. The melanin matters, the DNA matters. But we need to understand that. And we don't have any Neanderthal genes. I don't know what Neanderthal is, or they come, they're kind of half human, half beast. And they kind of just disappear. White people don't talk about them, because white people and them connected.
And
nice people.
And you think we don't have enough information on these differences you're talking about?
We need from our own perspective.
Yeah, but when we talk about Neanderthals, that's all Darwin. When we study...
Hold on. Are you saying Neanderthal never existed?
No, what I'm saying is...
I'm asking a question.
No, I didn't say that, Elder. Well, what I'm saying is this. I'm saying when we study anthropology, it comes from Europeans. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, but
when we study anthropology...
We study.
No,
right.
We haven't done it.
Hold on, but the question is...
We have...
The question is, did Neanderthal exist, yes or no?
All I know is, I don't study it myself. I don't study it myself. I don't study it myself. I'm not an anthropologist at all. Right, so... development. The Dogon is known for its deeply profound creative narrative, or creation story. The narrative expresses the character and the function of the universe. The Dogon creative narrative is probably the most highly complex and sophisticated account of a creation story ever constructed through the processes of the formation of matter and of biological reproduction. Ama, and I've had to put God in brackets, this concept of God, if you don't put it in, brackets won't know what you're talking about. So it's a double-edged problem. Ama, which is not God, but I have to put it in there so we get the sense of it. Ama, God, in brackets, begins the world into existence by the mixing of primordial elements and the vibrations of his spoken word. The handbook will now present an abridged summary of the story. Shall I read that to you? In the beginning, I'm abridging it. In the beginning, the structure and substance of the universe was in Amma, the supreme creator, who was in the image of an egg. The egg was divided into 4 basic parts or elements of air, earth, fire, and water. This establishes also the 4 cardinal directions, north, west, east, and south. I quote Karenga there, all right, because that was his interpretation there. Amma is perceived as the egg of the universe, and they are one, following an unsuccessful initial attempt to create the earth. Look at that, an unsuccessful attempt to create the earth. That's non-European. God is perfect in the European book. You see, God can't make mistakes. So we don't even have their concept of God. Amma is not a European God. It's a completely different concept. Amma is perceived as the egg of the universe, and they are one. Following an unsuccessful attempt to create the earth, Amma attempts a second creation and planted a seed within himself. Now the egg became 2 placentas, and Amma placed 2 sets of twins, male and female. However, before the gestation cycle was complete, one of the male twins, Urugu, violently breaks through the womb to seize the female twin. Unable to achieve his aims, he rebels against Amma's established order. He thus creates disorder to the balance and order. Urugu descends into space and primordial darkness and attempts to create his own universe. However, his knowledge was incomplete, so he could not speak creative words. Karenga 2010. Amma uses a piece of placenta which Urugu took as he broke from the celestial egg womb to restore order by creating the earth with it. To be exact, Amma punishes Urugu for his actions and transforms him into a pale fox. As a fox, he wanders aimlessly on earth. He would always be alone, always incomplete, and eternally in revolt, forever wandering the earth, seeking his male soul. That's our story. Okay, now it's mythical, but it doesn't mean it's not scientific. Doesn't mean it's not scientific. We don't need Darwin's theory of evolution. We need to do some more research. That's what I'm saying. The book is 1999. We're on the same page there.
Well, I haven't got anywhere near that. And it's just so in terms of reasonable. And that's sort of how Fox
Way you can bring your filter here.
so you must work this way and to put this one together.
Thank you so much.
Because
Look, brilliant.
this book is the result of European. This guy was a French guy who went to Mali, refugees there, and in fact, he spent months on what he did. They brought a ship, a university ship, to gather all this information. Now the question is, how much they really understood what the people from Mali was telling them? Because it was a different culture. And when one culture speaking to another culture, how much do we understand? Because certain words are not transferable. Certain ideas are not transferable because they're part of your liberty. And also, some of the things that the people of Mali couldn't tell them because the language, the understanding, the practice was too and
Look at that.
Can you show us the book again?
this is what they produce. Out of the mountain of information that they collect. And they will decide of the information they gather, A, what they understood, what they misunderstood. Secondly, what they decide to release and what they're gonna lock up and keep tied up. So again, the parent's point is a key point. Where's our study? Where's our scientists? Where's our original idea? And even this, and the Mali people, it came second hand. It came by way of other people who came to rob, who came to steal. And even to the best of their understanding, how much of it was over the head that they couldn't fully grasp and understood. Because since nobody was at the beginning of time, and there's no such thing as the beginning, there's always existence. I've not been to university, but one thing I know for sure, there's no beginning and there's no end. Earth could disappear tomorrow. Nothing can blow it up. Nothing can blow it up. But if Earth disappears, does not exist. Earth will be just like one grain of sand. An old barrel of sand. Maybe in the old beach of sand. Just one grain. If you had a barrel of sand on your head and one grain drop out, would you take off the barrel, put it down, and pick up your grain? Yeah, you just walk on. What's a grain of? So for us to understand life, it's just ideas, myths, and to try to make sense of. And I'm 100% with my brother here. The European idea is the most stupid, the most backward. Makes no sense, but yet to believe in it. Because we haven't stopped to think. Does this make any sense? Because the idea, and God said, is God's word. What God? What is God? I don't know. Foolishness. Because he has done some serious study on it. I have. But one thing for sure, our ideas, when we look at it, they're different from theirs. Very different. And ours make sense. I mean, they understand it fully. But they speak. Because what Europeans call God, and it is said that man created man in his own image and likeness. There's no evidence to support that. The evidence is in reverse. And man created God in his image and likeness. That's why God is so wicked. By European created. Because he's backward and stupid. God caused a lot of problems. Just take it to have Adam and Eve. If God created two people, in fact he created one. So God no have no sense to know, say, man I own can do not. You have flap on owner. So God shows his stupidity, ignorance, and damn fool. And then, if you put man and woman together, they're going to be attracted to each other and have sex. You know that. That's only not fine. But then, it's a sin.
Yeah, that was the sin.
It's a sin. What rubbish is that? Then, the man and woman have two boys. And they both dig for God. One must be farmer, can't tell you about bird food for God. The other one is a herder, animal, and can't feed Bucky God. I'm glad to see I never want to hear my banana. And the two boys catch a fight. I can't cause it. Because God will take both this. I say thank you to give me all these lovely things. Thank you. He never couldn't like both of them. Because he's stupid. God prefer one to the other. And the two boys catch a fight. And one kill the other. God caused it. God is the problem. And then, the boy that survived, after he killed his brother, he got mad over my Dana. Where she come from?
Yeah. The Bible, it has incredible contradictions.
I don't believe it. Anyway, we should have a lot to thank when I was for the time.
Thank you. Thanks a lot.
What's a big thank you?
Thanks a lot. Yeah, it's a book that will get you to read other books. You see, so
You haven't linked or you haven't talked much about the link between the Black Studies UK and the US in terms of contemporary and in the past.
well, just quickly then, Black Studies, obviously, because it's a method of liberation, we liberate ourselves through our own study. We study ourselves. It's inherently political. We've never had Black Studies in London. There's Black Studies at the moment, right, in city of Birmingham, Birmingham City University, with Kehinde Andrews is the professor. And I'm told that that's under a lot of pressure at the moment. Yeah, I mean, we've got some type of Black Studies here. Black Studies is massive in the United States. They call it Africana Studies in the United States. And many of the historically black colleges, it's there. You can do a Black Studies course in the United States quite easily. Here, because we're such a small, minoritized group of people, we don't really have Black Study. We have it in Birmingham. And that's it. Black Studies is a method of, it's how we survive. If your child understands Black Studies, it helps them have a sense of a global understanding of who they are. The reason Africa is under pressure from all these structural programs is that many of those African leaders did all their education in the West. They've got Eurocentric mentality. If they had Black Studies that links the African continent to the diaspora, maybe the decisions would have been different. You see where I'm coming from? So Black Studies is inherently political. It's political because we're using it to survive. You see, and as I said, the third aspect of Black Studies is that it's inherently an anti-racist activity because you're studying yourself. And we can draw on huge amounts of knowledge because of our history, our ancient and medieval history. So yeah, that's the connection. The connection is that we're struggling here. We struggle here to survive. And I don't know what the next 50 years are going to be like in the UK, but even this, I mean, look, 4 in attendance. I mean, so...
In fact, just to comment on the Black Studies, has anyone know a person called Femi Deko? Well, then, he novel. What is that? What do you know? Was serious. Femi Deko is one of our great scholars in this country. He hasn't written any book. And he needs to get his name in print. Because what Femi Biko did, he drew from American Black Studies. And as you know, as Brother Howard had just said, Black Studies was centered in the universities. And what Femi did, Femi make ownership of Black Studies and taking it out as the university institution and put it in the community. So he formed a group called APAS, the association. I tell you what APAS means a bit. And the key was to train young people in African studies, and they would then replicate and set up groups up and down the country, abroad, and the best students become teachers. And out of that, 3 people emerged. And out of those 3, only one is well known, Robin Walker.
Who were the other 2?
Brother called Jegna, and a sister called Amitai.
She's all right. No. Oh yeah, Amitai. Not yeah. Okay.
And Sister Amitai.
Right, got you.
He's a brilliant historian, trained by Femi Biko. Sadly, APAS command attack from the white Illinois state because they see where APAS was going. And they attack it and they smashed up. But um, um, Robin Walker didn't just pop out the sky. He's one of Femi Biko's greatest children. And when you listen to Robin Walker, he's top.
Yeah.
When you call
Black history man.
yeah. And when you call him Black History Man, you don't call him like that for nothing. He heard it. Because his book, When You Rule, is a landmark book. And that came out of the teaching of Bob Femi Biko.
Can I ask a question? Hasn't London got more blacks than Birmingham? Black people than both. So why did they put the black studies in Birmingham and not?
No, be careful. It's a question which academic hold on to it and is pushing and moving it. And Kenny Andrews, again, he didn't just go to the university and become a brilliant scholar. He comes out of struggle because his father, Maurice Andrews, created Arambi in Birmingham. And in Arambi, you have the bookshop, bookshop, you have the free legal advice. Perfect. You have a housing association around those. You have a daycare nursery. Of all the organizations in Britain that African people create, there was none like Arambi. Because Arambi had all the various departments advocating and struggling for black survival, black self-delivery, black sustainability, you know. Again, instead of we holding on to organizations and build them up, we run away from them and they crumble and disappear.
Brilliant.
It's a shame that more of us didn't go to Birmingham then.
Yeah, and then there was some, in addition to, oh, that's brilliant. Birmingham University had some things going because it,
God myself.
because of the, what's it called, the contemporary studies of
Candy Andrews was a lecturer here.
exactly. Yeah. So that it's uniquely political.
And in fact, Bev's daughter, Lisa Palmer, professor of history, they play out between themselves. And they must always remember, as African people, whenever we have differences, always try to solve it. Because we fight amongst ourselves, they're your enemy to come in and
mess it all up. Yeah. And I just want to say that Akinde Andrews, I mean, he's brilliant, isn't he? He's spot on. He's expert.
he comes out his story.
Expert on colonialism and the empire. Yeah. He's just great. You heard of him, yeah?
Yeah, that's
Okay. So here.
In fact, let me make sure at least you can see. I got one of his books.
His books are brilliant. He's great. I know that. He really is good.
If bonds or whatever, fine.
Yeah, you can. It's on. It's available in this bookshop. It's available Waterstones. It's available foils. It's also available blackhistorybooks.com. I'm buying one of these today.
That's one I could handle.
Yeah, I'm buying one of these today. And what else? It's available at my website as well. But you don't want to post it today, or yeah. So it's available on blackbooks.com UK. It's available here. You can order books from the Market Centre. It's available Waterstones. Yeah, you can order books over the phone. Just ring him up and also. Yeah, I don't know what system he's got going, but you can order books here. Any book you want, he can get. So yeah, it's available at a couple of outlets. Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna put that one on there as on one.
Make sure you ask as many questions to our brother before. You didn't.
See a time when race consciousness will be retained among the people here in the UK because we're students and we have Pan-African society, we try to get people coming, or we can see that our people are colorblind,
What's your organisation?
we have the students, we have student society, so we have Pan-African societies like Dinarine, and we can see that African people were not racially conscious, and apart from maybe the population of here and US, maybe in US there are more black people. Do you think that there's another thing that's why we are not that in America? Because America can
Yeah, we're given into the. I think we're given into the concept of the nation state looking after you. Black people, many black people have got used to. They've got a job, they've got a house, they've got a car. They've seen that as a full representation of liberation. They see that. Okay, I've got a job, I've got a house, I've got a car. We're fully liberated.
Is it that people are not feeling strong from the system? Is it that there's less?
Yeah, also there's fear as well. I think a lot of black people here are absolutely scared to even talk about racism. You know, there's deep fear about talking about racism. You know, they don't want to talk about it. But essentially, it's racial illiteracy. They don't understand who they are, why they're here.
Who's thinking? We.
Yeah. It's what I mean. And there's that disconnection there.
Just bring back. Would you then say that racism, I'm talking like institutional, in this island, in the UK, would you say it's more? Is it because it's not as no, I mean like just out there as it was in the US? You know, I feel like majority of us have got this sort of comfort that the system works for us. Most people I've spoken to that have spoken out, I don't really see the sense of Pan-Africanism. You know, the people I've spoken to that genuinely say, I know myself.
But they don't see the dangers.
I think they have this identity. They don't understand that this is my identity, but they don't feel the connection to African people around. And I think also it might be from the experience. That's a sort of theory that I have. I'm still trying to understand where they get that from. I think it's because of what they experience over here. Majority of people that give that sort of attitude to me, I just ask them, where do you get that from? Why do you not feel like you belong to the continent? Why do you not feel connected to your own people worldwide? You know, but as I see people telling me they don't see the existence of a black community, they don't see it. And the major argument they would give is, oh, we met a few Africans over here that acted this type of way towards us, you know.
I think it's absolutely rooted in a lack of knowledge of self, you see, and also constant racism. You see, there's kind of battle fatigue, the fear of talking about racism, a lack of knowledge about, you see, I mean, we've come out of slavery. Black studies only started 2016, I think it was, or 2014. 2014, black studies here in the UK. You see what I mean? So there's a sense in which the black people here are devoid of a knowledge of their history. So they get up in the morning, they just want a job, they don't want to talk about racism. And of course, the new racism is to talk about racism. If you talk about racism, you're a racist. You see what I mean? That's big stuff. I mean, I work in a school. I don't talk about racism in school. Even when children level their racism against me, I have to just call it bad behaviour. Unless they say the N-word, it isn't racism, even though I can see it's racist. You see? So we live in an environment which is anti-black in many respects. This is an anti-black society. People are scared to talk about racism. People have no knowledge of self. So they don't see any virtue in understanding it. They want to get their heads down, keep quiet, and get stuff, or be a footballer. or be a musician or something like that. They don't see any, and they don't see what's coming. They don't see that China is recolonizing Africa. They don't have no political head on them at all.
Speaking of dangers, can we touch on dangers that we face in this enterprise war and his society? Now we talk on make up on the dangers that
push to us as African people here in the
Well, what the main danger is to deculture you, to make you think that you ought to not be African. You ought not to center your culture. That really to talk about racism would make you a racist. You see, to be anti-black, to hate thyself. The number one problem of racism for black people born here, and if once you come over here, it makes a difference whether you're born here, you're going to be treated exactly the same as me. The number one problem is internalization of inferiority. So most of our black children feel inferior. They don't need a racist incident. Imagine that. They don't need to be called the N-word at all. They just feel inferior. There's been siphoned through the educational system, siphoned through the media, siphoned through the books and so on. So we're attacked. Our very identity is attacked. That's the attack, because we just don't see the benefits of being African. You need to divest yourself of your culture and so on. Keep talking.
But didn't we have agencies racial for support?
Say that again?
Agencies here for support for people that were having racism put upon them. If probably parents were having problem to their children at school, there was somewhere they could go to talk about it and have that support. And looking at now, since these agencies no longer are available, there are so many black children now from school where parents are having problems and they don't know where to turn, who they can get support from. And the children are just taken out of school and put into special.
I know, it's disgusting. The stats for it is really bad at the moment. It's really bad, Yeah, we're in a bad way. The black community is on its knees at the moment. We're on our knees. It wasn't like this even 20 years ago. It's pretty bad.
Because there were agencies around.
Yeah, we had a sense of ourselves. Brixton was, it is even now, we used to be the centre of blackness and so on. But much of it has been taken away from us. The carnival is not what it used to be, you see. So, yeah, it's a big struggle out here. It's really hard to survive. Many of us feel battle fatigued. We're tired of the racism. It's very hard.
But the destructive element is where does parents go? Yeah, and that generally they don't talk about it to get support from other parents.
Yeah,
who are probably going through the same thing themselves. So everyone is living in their little cocoon, isolation, and dealing with.
Yeah, and racism vamped up. Donald Trump is now president again. Quite easy to predict. Racism is on the rise. You know what I mean? It's not a good time, and all I can say is that we've got to arm ourselves with who we are, have a sense of who we are as a people. Black studies is really important because it's an anti-racist activity. You're not just reading a book, you're reading about yourself, you're reading about your culture. Yeah, and it connects you to the world, the global world system of blackness. You see, that's what that's about, really.
I wanted to ask about fascism and how we could battle that. It seems you answered that.
Say that again.
Fascism. We wanted to ask of fascism and Trump in the United States, how Africans can arm themselves to defend against fascism or to even attack or fight fascism. It seems you just touched on that now, talking about the book.
Yeah. Again, fascism is about. It's racism in the nation state. So the state is is very about security. It's about controlling the amount of immigration there is and so on. It's a racist endeavour. It's slightly different in Germany than it would be in other countries. Yeah, it's people don't want to accept it, but fascism is definitely, America's going that way in a big way, isn't it? It's becoming deeply racist. Again, we just need to arm ourselves with where we used to be. If we have a knowledge of self, where we came from, we can go back. We can go there. You are young guys. If this was 1983, it'd be a different place, wouldn't it? We were at a different place. Yeah, it's just really hard. But I tell you, we have got resilience as black people. But we must arm ourselves with who we are. We've got to know who we are. And this notion of black consciousness, yeah, a global commitment to one another is really what it's about, which will arm us to set up these institutions, set up organizations to connect with each other in the best ways that we can. Yeah, we're not all going to be able to go on black study programs. We're not going to be able to do that. Maybe we can't even afford it. But there are resources around us. This is an amazing place because we've got resources that we need. Everything you need to know about who you are is right here in this bookshop.
If there's someone who want to do black studies in the UK, it's only in Birmingham.
Only in Birmingham.
Birmingham City University.
Absolutely. Or do it yourself, work through the racism handbook, and you'll get it.
No, hold on. No.
Are there other little courses?
SOAS?
It was nice hearing
Thank you.
Asum for the second time. But I've got to go. I was supposed to go ages ago. I'll read your book. I'll get one next time.
All right, thank you.
Right, Shamin, what's her name? It was a best studies course.
What's her name?
Shamin, I forget her second name. But yeah, that's been established. You know it. Yes. It no work from a center in Islington.
Okay, I don't know.
But we'll get the information. That's what it's.
Oh, I know. You mean black studies? The black studies. Yeah, black studies. Yeah. It's Charmaine and yeah. There are they do black history tours as well.
Yeah, and SOAS?
No.
SOAS, there is no black studies.
So that's African studies and colonial studies, and it looks at Asia.
It's a white institution.
It looks at Asia, and it looks at Africa, and it looks different parts of the global south. It's a different course.
Does it help?
That is a problem. That is very difficult to do. Okay, because I would say get PhDs if you can, but you need to retain your African self. It's not easy to do as you go through those institutions. Very difficult to do. I mean, I wrote. There's a chapter in on Darwin. I put that forward. I was speaking to an associate professor, and that was going to be a possible. We can do more development and make it into a PhD program. I could feel even from the discussions that I wouldn't have a book like this. It was going to go in another direction. So yeah, get educated. I think it's really, but maintain the connection to who you are. You see, but if you're not grounded in who you are, then it's going to whittle away. It will go because it's coming at you 24/7. It's coming at you 24/7. But yes, education is absolutely essential. I think it's important. Yeah.
Question: which uni here in the UK do you think that is more black friendly? We don't have HBCU like the US, but which uni would you say that we would go in and we wouldn't come out whitewashed?
It's not about. Well, no, I mean I can't say this university is going to whitewash you. That like you were saying earlier, could you get something from going at SOAS? You can get something from anything. You see, you can get you know what I mean. The point is, it's your responsibility to protect your black psyche. That's your responsibility. Doesn't matter who's standing in front of you and what they say. You shouldn't just take it hook, line, and sinker. You should consider it. You should be measured in your understanding, and also read black authors. The great Amos Wilson said, yeah, you can read anybody, but do you know your canon? Do you know the Black Canon? What are the Black Canon? You mentioned Sheikh Anta Diop, so that's great. He's in the Black Canon. So be aware of the Black Canon, because if you're aware of the Black Canon, the collective knowledge, then when someone stands in front of you and says anti-black things, you'll be able to recognise it. I can recognise it like that. See, I was listening to an interview. It was actually Kindi Andrews and an African American professor called Glenn Lowry. And I think there was a white lady called Catherine Frank, and they were talking about the wealth gap. It was about 4 years ago, talking about the black wealth gap in the United States and the UK. And Professor Lowry, black, African-American, he just spewed platitudes. Whenever he was asked about the wealth gap, he just said, oh, well, I don't want to speak about it. I wouldn't want to speak about the wealth gap in terms of race.
Why not?
Kindi Andrews destroyed him. Why wouldn't you want to speak? I like to think about, we are not just African Americans, we are Americans. And Kindi Andrews, the answer to that was, he didn't sit there and just let that wash over him. He said, no, there are such things as African Americans. You see? So it's the ability to be able to listen to people and to understand where they're coming from. Okay? So Glenn Lowry, he's got his house, he's got his car, he's got his wife, he's got his profile. You see? So he's selfish. That's what it is. He doesn't care. But he's going to use his intellectual language to say black people shouldn't have reparations. And if you're sitting in front of him and you're on his course, yeah, you should be able to go, okay, I'll write whatever to get him to mark my stuff, but I know where I'm coming from. You need to hold on to who you are. I can sit on any course and listen to any garbage, and I know what I'm going to believe and I know what I'm not. I'll write what you want me to write. I was at a university once and I wrote some stuff I didn't even believe, but I got the marks. Do you know what I mean? Well, you know, I mean, you have to protect yourself. You have to protect yourself. And you know what I mean? But if you're not grounded in any knowledge, you will buy in to the Eurocentric racism. You will buy into it because it's coming at you 24/7. So why wouldn't it affect you? We're all affected by the racist system. So that's my answer to that. It's not so much. I mean, if you can go to the University of Birmingham and study black culture, great. Or the one that Elder mentions there. But wherever you are, you need to protect your psyche. Protect it. And if someone says something, you need to check it out. Check out whether it's true or false. Like when I said to you earlier, Sheikh Anta Diop, then he was a Darwinist. You didn't just take offence. You went, well, what do you mean by that? Let's develop that. Because I wasn't saying, you know what I mean? So that's what it is. You just need to be acute and rational about what's going to protect yourself. Because if you stay in this country, I mean, I woke up when my teens, I didn't know why. I didn't know who I was. I was completely lost. You're just lost because they're coming at you with their nonsense. So, you know, I don't know what it's like being born in another country, then coming here, but I know the pressure of the system is on you, insofar as it's on me and anybody else. Yeah, it's important to protect your psyche, protect your identity.
Speaking of psyche, do you think that staying away from psyche derivative thing, do you think that is a form of protection? Like, for example, the movies I watch on Netflix, they are basically anti-black, and we try to do you think that?
Yeah, I mean, yes, I think that. Look, I don't sit and watch romance movies of this white lady and a white man kissing each other. I just look at it and I go, that doesn't relate to me. I don't bother. And you need to ask yourself, why are you getting off on that? Do you see what I mean? If I didn't watch Black Panther, I didn't watch it because I know what's going to happen here. They're gonna get me to be anti-African. That's the plan. And then when I read the reviews, they did that. It was like one of the there was basically the diasporan African against the continental African. I don't know who played the parts. Okay, right. So protect yourself. Be careful what you watch. Protect yourself. But you should be able to get to the stage where you can watch anything and you just go. It just goes in there. You should be able to watch things and go, yeah, all right.
That's what you're saying.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, all right. I mean, I'm a school teacher, so I listen to a lot of crap all the time. I read a lot of garbage. I read it, and unfortunately, I have to give it to the schools. Well, I have to give it to children. What can you do? Otherwise, I don't get money. So yeah, you have to protect yourself. Be aware. Stay in your own African psyche. But if you just give it up to the world, you will be anti-black. That's a fact. You'll be in your black body and you'll be anti-it.
Which is dangerous. You become a dangerous person.
Well, you'll just be in your black body, but you'll be anti-black, and there's lots of that going on. Huge amounts of it going on. Or you become incredibly selfish, like Glenn Lowry, because he's got his house and his car and he's got what he wants. He doesn't see any connection to global blackness. He doesn't give a damn. I wouldn't want to speak about the wealth gap in terms of race, when it's the race that caused the wealth gap. You know what I mean? So you're either going to become anti-black or you'll just become selfish and greedy and think about yourself. But it will destroy the best part of your character. Racism does that.
Thank you very much. Do you guys that?
Right.
Sophie, thank you again.
Wow.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks very much. Thanks a lot. I can't say another word, I'm tired. Thank you.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, you can ask me then. Go on.
We're gonna get it.
Okay, good. Good.
Just pretty copies.
Yeah, sure.
Mine and autograph.
Oh, yes.
You could sign it.
Yeah, no problem.
As advertised, the first 10 people come get 10%. So you have no competition in terms of numbers exceeding that. Also, if you spend more than